What's up, guys? Coach Bonds here with another episode of the Breakdown with Bonds. I'm recording this live, so I don't have any of the pretty stuff at the bottom, but I've been sick for a week and I've been on my computer mainly doing the admin back end stuff, no training in person. And it's given me a chance to actually like slow down and be present with myself, but also slow down and look at reasons why clients may be struggling, why they may be stagnant, or just really get to hear their frustrations because we're not in the hustle and flow of training. So, hi, if you're new here, my name is Coach Bonds. I'm a women's holistic fitness professional. That means I'm a certified fitness coach with NASM. I'm a certified health coach with Health Coach Institute. And over the years, if you want to keep your certifications, you got to keep studying. So, some of the things that I have studied are weight loss, corrective exercise, bodybuilding, and behavior change in exercise. And prior to this, I actually went to school to be a minister. So, one of the things that I like to do is combine that science with the emotional and even spiritual aspect of the journey to make this journey more meaningful for women. And a lot of the times, what I've noticed is that people that come into the journey with this idea of, I just want to lose weight as fast as possible, they are usually the ones who end up taking the longest to lose weight. I'm still trying to formulate what sort of psychological, spiritual phenomenon is happening there. But the best way that I could communicate it to you is this: when you have a lot to work on, hold on, let me meet you here. Your physical world, car, house, body, all that stuff, how messy your room is, how clean your room is. It's a physical manifestation of what's going on internally. So if you are carrying a lot of heavy weight, it usually corresponds with a lot of heavy emotional weight because you how you have dealt with your emotions is shown in your body. Some people stress eat, some people stress starve, some people remain stagnant and don't move anywhere, and that shows because it's hard for them to move. And so if you're someone that is coming to your journey and the first thing you want to do is lose weight as fast as possible while not addressing the root cause of why you are either immobile or overweight or underweight, if you don't address those root causes, the reason why it's taking you so long is because, imagine, right? Oh God, this is good. Imagine when it comes to poverty, because this is literally what our country is doing. Imagine when it comes to poverty, beating down on the poorest people and being like, yeah, yeah, make more money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to be homeless? We're going to arrest you. Yeah, yeah. Like that doesn't work. That doesn't stop homelessness. Those people didn't like, oh, you're going to arrest me because I'm homeless. That doesn't fix anything. In fact, it just exacerbates the problem. And some of you are exacerbating the problem with what's going on with your body by ignoring the root cause of the problem. Same for crime. If they really wanted to end crime in this country, they would take some of that money out of policing and put it into community programs that are actually going to reach the root problem of why these kids are in the streets. Is there a lack of supervision? Is there a lack of good influence? Is there a lack of parents and people and adults in their lives that care? Is there a lack of money? Perhaps these kids are stealing because they're hungry. It sounds like straightforward, very, very easy to understand when you hear it like that. And yet, when I work with my clients and I tell them ahead of time, hey, you have been underfed for a long time. Hey, we got to work on some kind of structure because you're just all over the place. You don't want to log nothing. You don't want to work out. And you're just like, I don't know why nothing's working. Well, your body doesn't know what you're trying to do. There's no structure. Or maybe you're like, well, I've been eating intuitively and nothing's happening. And it's like, well, that's the root problem, is that your intuitive eating hunger cues are off, or you don't know when to stop eating. So, for anyone that I have worked with who has jumped into this ready to lose weight overnight without first addressing, hey, what's going on? How do we get here in the first place? The reason why it takes so long is because you try to bypass the original problem without first hitting the root problem. And if it doesn't work with ending crime, if it doesn't stop with ending poverty, why? I know those are so unrelated to your body, but it's not. Because again, your physical world is a manifestation of your internal world. So if here in America we have people struggling with poverty and homelessness, that is a manifestation of an internal problem of the system. Just the same, if you are at a weight or a way that you don't like your body, it's either because you've been ignoring it, you have been pushing through. That's what women love. I'm just going to push through. You've been pushing through for too long. But either way, you've either been ignoring it or you've been pushing through for too long. And that is what got you here. So if that's what got you here, then that's not what's going to get you there, which is where you want to be. And for whatever reason, this is a very difficult concept to grasp for women. They want to come and join the program with all of the same things that they had before they hired me. And this is me and them for the first couple months. Well, I don't want to log. Well, I don't want to get buff. Well, I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And this is what I'm here to tell you. This has been one of the longest intros because I haven't even gotten into the episode. You are not a teenager anymore. You are not in your 20s. You are not in your, if you're 30 and up, you're not in your early 30s. You are a grown ass woman. Okay. If you keep comparing yourself to how you were when you were a teenager, I want you to understand you're basically, men that like young girls and we don't like that. You're basically like trying to fit into a mold that is not for you because you are a teenager. Nobody expects to be the same size as they were as a teenager. And yet I got women in their 40s, not teenage years, but women in their 40s and out fantasizing about a time in their life that you cannot get back. So number one expectation gap for women is that we can't rewind the hands of time. You had a baby and now you're bigger. We cannot go back in time and unhave that baby. We cannot go back in time and unbig your belly. But what we can do now is build a solid, strong foundation for you and your body moving forward. And the amount of women that get stuck at the starting line because they cannot accept this reality is mind-blowing. They're like, nah, I'm gonna get back. I gotta get that pre-baby body. I gotta get that. And the only reason, here's another note, the only reason why you're so focused on a number on the scale, the only reason why we want anything is because of what we think we're going to get from it when we get it. The only reason why you want a job, the only reason why you want a car or a career, the only reason why we want anything is because of what we perceive will change once we have it. And here, spoiler alert, I had a financial goal in my business, and I've talked about this on my last podcast. I had a financial goal in my business to hit, and when I hit it, I promise you I didn't feel any different. I did not feel any different. And the worst part about it was that because I had to kill myself to get to that goal, once I got there, I was even more anxious because I was like, I got to keep this up. And for the next several months, I had anxiety and I would be up at night worried that I was going to lose my apartment, lose my car, lose my business, and lose everything because the unsustainable ways that I was putting myself under to get there. And just the same, I work with, and I take that wisdom and I apply it to my coaching. And I'm like, hey, ladies, I know you have your eyes fixated on this goal and you're willing to starve. You're willing to work out 6 days a week. You're willing to pay me this much money. You're willing to pay them this much. You're willing to do everything but be patient with yourself. But that's wrong point right here. You're going to run your body into the ground for a goal that will not change because you think the goal is going to make you happy when actually the pursuit, the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, that's what translates into your brain having literally releasing good hormones, neurotransmitters and good chemicals to make you feel good. That's what happens. That's why you feel better, not because of the number on the scale. But if you've convinced yourself that you're not going to feel good about yourself until that number changes, then you're literally robbing yourself of the joy that is in the journey. You are robbing yourself of the joy that is in the journey so that even when you do reach the goal, I promise you won't be happy because that's what happened to me. And I've watched it happen to so many other women. They reach the goal usually because they snuck behind my back and ate a little less or did a little extra or dropped carbs so that the scale would drop. And they got there and they didn't feel any better. Why? Because once you start eating carbs again, the weight comes back. Why don't they feel any better? Because they were so convinced that number on the scale was going to mean something when it literally means nothing. So, damn, that was a long intro, but I think I did start with like points 1 or 2. But let me just jump into these points real quick so I can hop off of here for you guys and let this soak in, right? Let it soak in. All right, number one thing that I wish women understood about weight loss is that the scale is not a progress report. The scale is just telling me how much you weigh. It's letting me know how much poop is still in your bowels that you have not released yet, probably because you're not drinking enough water. And if you aren't drinking enough water, your body's probably retaining water. So that scale tells me, okay, she's either very well hydrated or not. She's either regular and has pooped or she has not. Or she's inflamed. These are the markers that day-to-day weights are going to tell you. And women hop on the scale and they weigh themselves every single day. And I'm like, all you are looking at is the normal fluctuation of having a human body because you're not a dumbbell. You're not a kettlebell. You're not going to have a fixed weight. And this is something that I really need women to understand because they will literally get so depressed to not look at the scale or see a number they don't like and go eat instead. That's like it's counter fucking productive. But I'm like, you guys understand that if you poop Don't eat any carbs today and get on the scale tomorrow. It might say 3 pounds less. It might say 3 pounds less just because you were stressed and holding water. The main measure that you want to look at is not the daily weight, but do weekly and monthly and zoom out. And with that, I'll lead you to my next point, which is that this does not happen overnight. If you are tracking your fat loss, not weight loss, if you're tracking your fat loss by the day, oh, I lost a pound today or lost a pound this week, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I swear to God, you're doing it wrong. And I'm getting so emotional about this part because the amount of women who swear to me that they're not making progress because they don't understand how fat loss works. They think, oh, I ate in a deficit today. Did I lose a pound? Oh, I did some workouts today. Did I lose a pound? Oh, that's not how that works. Think of it like your degree in college. You showed up for class. Would you walk up to the administrator and be like, do I get my degree now? They'd be like, hell no, finish the course. Okay. So then after you finish the course, do you go down to the admin and be like, hey, do I have my degree now? And they'll be like, hell no, finish the course. That's how your weight loss journey is. Like you can look and see that you checked off, hey, I did the course, and you can see with your own eyes that you did it, but you don't feel any closer to your degree. You don't feel any closer to your degree because you're looking at it as a sum, like a net zero or sum all, like I either pass or fail. You're looking at it as I either hit the goal and I did it, and that's not how weight loss works. You have a number in your head that we've already explained is only important to you because once upon a time in your life you were there and it felt good, or you think that that's the thing that's going to make you feel good. If you are on the latter, I need you to understand that weight is not going to make you happier. Changing your quality of life is going to make you happier. Because I promise you, when your quality of life is better, you won't stress eat or you won't stress starve. When your quality of life is better, I won't have to yell at you to remember to drink water. When your quality of life is better, your stress levels will be manageable and your body won't have to be constantly in fight or flight. So if you are more fixated on the number on the scale because you think it's going to bring you happiness, I need you to step outside of your body and remember that your body is a part of your own, it's a physical manifestation of your internal world. You want to feel better, you have to fix what's going on in here first, and I promise you your body will reflect it. The people that I know that are exhausted, that are tired, most of them are struggling with a lot of unprocessed stress, and they don't want to admit that walking is going to help them process or at least not have that energy stuck in your body. So for number one, and I was saying the scale is not the determining factor for when the scale is not a report card. I have so many women that will hop on the scale and be like, they don't want to add it in the app. They don't want to show their progress because they only want to show it going down. And to that, I'll say, I need some of y'all to stop. You guys have very stressful lives. So I hear you and I see you and I want to hold space for you. And then on the other end, I want to come in with some of that tough love and be like, mama, let's be a big girl. Let's be a big girl. You cannot fix what you don't face. You can't master what you don't manage. Right? What's not measured can't be managed. And too often we only want to look at the scale when we think we've been good. We only want to look at the scale when we think there's going to be a difference. And what I'm trying to stress so much is I want you to treat your weight loss journey the way you would treat your child. Do you only celebrate your child when they got A's? Or are you proud of them when they did their homework? Do you only tell your kid good job when they passed a whole grade? Or do you tell them good job the whole year? You're the kid in this situation. Every time you do a workout, high five. Every time you do a weigh-in, oh snap, the scale didn't move. Oh well, I got 5 workouts in this week and I used to only get in 3. You guys are looking at the wrong thing. Gary Vee, I love him. He said a long time ago, he said 7 million people need to redefine what success means, because I got caught up in the whirlwind of success means cars, success means money, success means this. And when I got successful, nothing changed. In fact, I was more stressed because I'm like, I got to keep this up. Some of you are going to reach your weight loss goals or get your surgery or get to the finish line without having learned the skills that it takes to sustain what you have at the finish line. And there will be so much anxiety, right? Because one, you're like, I got to keep this, either you skip the steps, so you're not going to know how to maintain it, or you did a crash diet to get there quickly and you're afraid because now you don't know how to sustain it. Either way, those are the 2 reasons why so many women stay stuck in their journeys. And I'm frustrated because it's extremely frustrating to watch. And capitalism capitalizes off of this. I think I've harped on the scale enough. Let's move on. All right, the scale is not the only one. Progress. You got water retention from sodium. You got inflammation from stress. Your gums, if your gums bleed, that's inflammation, and it is chronic and it runs through your whole body. Your body is a system. It's not, oh, this is my arm, this is my leg. You have inflammation here, then you probably have arthritis as well, or you're more prone to. You got stress hormones, undigested food, which I already talked about. Some of y'all have not been regular since you've been born. You probably have like 10 pounds of shit sitting in you. Drink some water, eat some fiber, take a dump, go smile because the scale went down. Okay. Your period's also going to make the scale go up. All of this shows up as weight on the scale. And my favorite last one before I move away from the scale is that if you are lifting weights to lose weight, you lose a pound of fat and then you gain a pound of muscle. The muscle takes up less space, but it still shows up on the scale. Stop just relying on the scale. Take your before and after pictures so that you can see, oh, that roll's gone or da-da-da. Take some measurements so that you can clearly see, oh, snap, my went down. My waist went down. Break up with the scale. All right, number 2. This is one of the most popular confusions when it comes to the weight loss journey. Well, I got to do more cardio and I got to eat less food. And I want to ask you guys, how many men do you know that became cardio bunnies and just ate less food? First of all, I just want to ask you, pay attention to the weight loss industry when it comes to genders, because you don't see men struggling with this. And yes, we have hormones. Men have hormones too. They've just learned to suppress them. But this whole idea of it's just so much harder for women, and yes, it is, but a lot of it is because of the misinformation and the expectations. Men naturally have more testosterone than us. They're going to build muscle faster. You're trying to build muscle, and you've never really built muscle before. You think it happens when you go to the gym 1 day or 2 days. Ask anybody that's been bodybuilding or lifting weights for years. Muscle growth takes time. And you're still measuring it by arbitrary measure. You're measuring it by a fitness industry that capitalizes off of the fact that it knows you don't understand how fat loss works. So since you don't understand how it works, you certainly wouldn't understand that the methods they're giving you are unsustainable and unrealistic. So let's get to the cardio under eating thing. So what do we got? Most common combination, right? You burn more calories and eat less. It makes sense on paper, but here's what's happening. Most cardio, anything that's going to get you winded, anything above where you can hold a full conversation. So like if you're on the Stairmaster, you're like this, but if you're like this and it's labored breathing, right? Okay. When you're there, anything above that, your body's burning carbohydrates for fuel. It is not burning fat. So you doing a fuck ton of cardio is just burning the free carbs either in your bloodstream or your body's breaking down the carbs that are stored in your muscle. I don't have time. Well, I can break that down. Carbs get stored as glycogen in glycogen cells, right? Glycogen, glucose, we're on the same page, okay? Blood sugar, there we go, sugar, carbs. Blood sugar cells are stored in your muscles so that when you're exercising, they can break down and be released. So when you're doing this type of cardio, guess what's getting used for fuel? Carbs. This is why you're not burning fat or losing fat by just doing so much cardio, but they don't tell you that. And for some women, that would just be too much information to begin with. So let's go back to the main point. Your body stores carbs as glycogen. Glycogen cells are stored in your muscle. When you do that type of cardio, guess where the energy is coming from? The breakdown of the muscles to get there, okay? So your body, desperately searching for fuel, starts breaking down muscle tissue to get that stored glycogen. Read that again. You are burning muscle to fuel your workout when you overdo cardio. You are burning muscle to fuel your workout. So if you're wondering why it feels like you're doing so much cardio and it's going backwards, it's because you are burning muscle to fuel your workout. And muscle is what helps increase your metabolism. So if you're doing so much cardio that your body's breaking down muscle for fuel for your cardio, no, you're not retaining muscle. You're just not. All right, where are we at? Zone 2 cardio. Which is a little harder to stay in because a lot of us, our heart rate gets really high. But if you're determined to use cardio for your fat loss, zone 2 cardio. And I'll give you guys the formula for that. If you're watching, it's the number 220 minus your age. So mine would be 220 minus 39. Okay. Now I have that number. To get into zone 2 cardio, zone 2 cardio is about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, which is that formula we just did. So my max heart rate is whatever 220 minus 39 is. I don't math well. What is that? It's 200 minus another It's 20 plus 19. I don't know, 81. 181. I think my max heart rate is 181. So I would take that and I'm going to multiply it times 0.60. And that number is going to give me the lower end of what zone 2 would be. To find the higher end of my zone 2 cardio, because it's a range, I would do 181 times 0.70. And that'll give you some kind of numbers, probably like 120 to 130 or something. That is zone 2 cardio for me. When I'm doing cardio in that zone, my body's using fat for fuel, not carbs. All right. Another expectation gap. So we talked about how the scale doesn't just go down instantly overnight. And we just talked a little bit about how muscles take a while to build. But the other main thing is, and this is why Ozempic exists, aside from regulating people's blood sugar. The main reason why I'm convinced Ozempic exists is because most women don't trust the process. They don't stay consistent long enough. They see it's working, but it's not working fast enough. And this is why a coach is valuable, because there's been a lot of women who know how to do this stuff, but once they give up, they give up. And we don't like that. Then they don't come back. If you know that's you, then you probably do need to hire a coach or someone to make sure that you don't give up on yourself, because the truth is it is working. You just are measuring it with the scale only. It is working, but you don't realize that the muscle you built is swapping place with the fat. It is working, but you have gotten so used to ignoring your body and you're more focused on what it looks like on the outside. Little do you know, in about 10, 20, 30 years, that ignoring the inside to focus on the outside is going to come back and bite you in the ass royally. Speaking from someone who like cracked a tooth the other day, when they told me years ago, girl, your gums, you need to pay attention to them. You got cavities, this and that. Ignore them, crack, there goes a tooth. And I'm like, all right, so I think I'm going to start paying attention to the dentist a little more now. For you, maybe you need to start paying attention to the trainers and the people that are telling you to eat healthy, walk more, and drink water. And I'm going to finish with this because we have a lot more, and I'll just do this on another. Actually, we don't have enough more. Consistency. That was my last point, is that most women don't understand. I wrote an article on this, so I'll just read you what I have here. This sort of information isn't going to go viral, because real measurable body composition change requires months, not weeks, of your nutrition and your training be aligned at the same time, not alternating, not mostly good, not genuinely consistent, but dialed in and together. And most women never get there, not because they're not capable, but because somewhere around root 2 or 3, the scale doesn't move, or it moves up, and they interpret that as evidence that it's not working. So they quit. They go back to the starting line and they run the same cycle over and over again, but this time with a different hack and this time with a different diet. The compound effect of consistency is so real, you can't even understand it unless you've experienced it. Okay? It is ruthless in the most beautiful way. But most women never make it to that threshold to see the compound interest or the compound impact of consistency. Every workout builds on the last one. Every week, your body adapts. Every month, your body's baseline shifts. But that compounding only works if you don't reset every 2 weeks because you got emotional. And that's where most women don't make it to. The women that you're watching and that you're envying and that you're like, first of all, that's really key. Some of you want to lose weight, but you are so focused on not being a muscle mommy or not doing this, and that. And going back to the beginning of the episode, I need you to remember, you can't turn back the hands of time. You will not have your pre-baby body because that's impossible. You can rebuild the one that you have now and work towards what a sexy, strong, fit you looks like now. But until you let go of this fantasy that you're going to somehow be exactly what you look like before whatever happened, it's going to be hard. You have to learn to see yourself in another light. You have to see yourself as a woman that logs her food. You got to see yourself as a woman that gets up and works out. You got to see yourself as someone that actually gives a fuck about herself to do this stuff. All right, we're losing daylight and I'm also getting a little blurry, so I'm going to hop off here. The main thing for you to do is to start and not stop. Once you notice that your body has stopped you making progress, reach out to someone for help. Go to the gym and get a free assessment. Do what you got to do. But this idea that you need to go get on a pill because it's not happening fast enough, I promise you, it's just because you haven't given it enough time. So I hope that this was helpful. If this was, I would love for you to share this with someone that needs to hear this. Comment what you found the most helpful, and I'll see you guys next time on the Breakdown with Bonds.